Hello, welcome. Good to see you. It's been a minute since I've been here, but I've really been wanting to talk about this Nancy Guthrie case. It seems really odd to me. It seems really strange. Hello, hot tea. Happy, frazzled. Hello. Good to see you. Hello, Angel. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I feel like something really, really strange is happening. It doesn't seem like this is the real, doesn't feel like an actual kidnapping to me. Um, I just feel like it's super, super strange. And every day it seems to be more strange. Hold on one second. Sorry about that. So I really kind of wanted to chat with everybody and see what everybody else is thinking. I think what really got me this morning was finding out that because initially what we were told was she went to dinner with her daughter and son-in-law and their family on Saturday night. She was brought home. And Sunday, she didn't show up for church. So somebody notified her family and they went over. That's what got the whole ball rolling. Went to her house. She wasn't there. There were signs of something bad had happened. And now we have gotten a lot of different timelines from the sheriff there. I don't know what all I think about that, but they did say that it was about church. That's what brought all this up, right? Now, this morning I heard that she hasn't physically attended church since COVID. That really. So what caused anybody to look for her? I don't understand. Hello, Cindy. Happy. It's about 2 hours from us. Maybe hour and a half, 2 hours from us. Oh, thank you, Debbie. Yeah, and the area, the way they're showing it is a remote area. That's not most of Tucson. That's a really nice area of Tucson. The homes are much more expensive. But so if that's not what caused them to go and look for her going to church, this makes everything even more weird to me. I don't feel, me personally, day one, I felt like it was somebody probably in her home that had done work for her, that was comfortable there, that knew, that was familiar with the place. And because the people, from what we understand, they were in that house for like 45 minutes, and that's quite a while to be in there and not worry. But then you have a ransom note not sent to the family, sent to media. And like 3 days later, not right away. I don't know, I kind of feel like a lot of kidnappings don't happen here in the United States that often now these days. So I feel like I don't think that's really what it is. I don't think it's a kidnapping. It doesn't seem like that. And all the things that have come out with about the daughter and son-in-law, I don't know. They are the last ones to have seen her, so that makes some sense. But what are you guys thinking? You don't think she's alive? You wouldn't think so, right? Hey, Queen. Hey, Beck. I think so too. I someone who's very familiar with the house and comfortable there, right? I think it's somebody who's comfortable there. And I kind of feel like this ransom stuff is kind of a just something to throw people off or something. Doesn't make sense. I'm really baffled by this. She doesn't go to church though. Right. Right. Yeah, it is. It's so weird. And, of course, it doesn't appear that everything's been handled the right way. You never know. And we never know what's going on in the background, obviously, right? We shouldn't know everything. But that whole church thing threw me this morning. I'm like, okay, it just gets weirder every day. And it does. I feel like there is something with the son-in-law and daughter. So did you guys see this weekend? They were at the son-in-law and daughter's house at night taking pictures inside. You could tell because it was dark. So that is something. And I don't think it was a good idea for the cops to, not secure the scene. In fact, yeah. So Sheriff Lamb just spoke to, or I'm not sure when, he spoke to Joe Pags. I was going to show you guys that. Because Sheriff Lamb says that the deputies that are and the security that the family has out there, they're just going in and out and using the bathroom. That's weird, right? What are you guys thinking? This is so weird to me. And it gets stranger every day. And we've missed the deadline for the ransom. That was at 5:00 today. You'd think the family, do you? Debbie, huh? It's definitely really strange. Yeah, I liked seeing that Sheriff Lamb was getting in on it a little bit. And I kind of, I'm not a big fan of Jennifer Coffendorfer ever since that whole Sebastian thing. That I haven't been very impressed with her. I really feel like I kind of feel like the FBI might want to have her not say that she used to work for them. But she was on Joe Pags also, and I thought that was really good. But it is, it's so odd. It makes me really sad. Because you're right, like, I can't imagine somebody just has her, but then that means, I don't know, you don't want to say it. I hope she was kidnapped. No, I agree. I agree, Frazzle. I think that I think a lot of their body language and um some of the choice, the verbiage is odd to me. And you guys heard the one part that sounds like it's the same thing they said in Silence of the Lamb. It's like, ooh, yikes. It actually is. Okay, let's see what Sheriff Lamb. I didn't get to see all this, but it's a hit and miss.
Sheriff Nanos released that crime scene way too early and then went to University of Arizona basketball game while a woman was missing. This isn't just incompetence. The evidence might just be gone forever. Watch this. Let me ask you up front, if you know this guy, Nanos, I know that it's a neighboring county from where you were the sheriff for a long time. Pima County is not Pinal County. I don't know the makeup of the county. But I just as an observer, I'm watching him and I'm going, what's he doing? They released the crime scene too early. He's at a basketball game the other day. He admits that they messed up. So let's start from the start. Do you know this guy? And how would you rate what he's been doing on this case so far?
I do know him. There's only 15 sheriffs in the state of Arizona, and our county's bordered. We work together on a few things. He's been very good. I had a deputy shot one time. He came in, was right there for us.
Okay.
You know, doing the media piece is part of being sheriff. Being able to go in front of the cameras and talk to people about a major case and give them confidence that that case is being handled to the best of the agency's ability, that you're exhausting every resource, is one of the primary responsibilities. I can say he does not look very comfortable in front of the camera. I don't feel like the family has really felt that sense of confidence that they're looking for from law enforcement. And you mentioned the basketball game. Look, I'm not one to bash on people. Everybody's got to do their thing. And I certainly don't like to take shots at sheriffs. And I don't mean this as a shot. That's not what I would have done.
Right.
I think you got to read.
See, honestly, by the time he went to the basketball game, I think I was okay with that because he hasn't seemed to really know everything that's going on anyway. And kind of, with the FBI coming in, which thank God they did, I think I would be telling him, go ahead and go to the basketball game, go ahead and go do. That's kind of where I'm at with the sheriff. He's made a lot of different contradicting statements.
The room. I think you've got to understand that the family, this is everything to them right now, and you might have to miss that game. So to be able to, and this isn't the only case they have. Like, there's a lot of cases they've got going on But this is the case that's garnering the national attention. And I would have probably skipped the basketball game.
Well, I think that you make a great point because this has international intrigue. You've got people from the BBC, from The Guardian, people from Australia, for God's sakes, carrying this every single day, a case out of Tucson, Arizona. So I think that, like you said, you've got to read the room better. But you all, the first point you made really jumps out at me. Mark, you were an unbelievable sheriff. I wish that you could be sheriff forever. I think you are America's sheriff. I believe that. But along with why you were so good was your knowledge of law enforcement. You speak two languages, knowing what, who your constituency is. You also, in front of the camera, are this good every single time. So when you get elected to that job, you've got to expect that you're going to be the face of that force. And that sheriff's department is not looking great right now because of the speed of the leader. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. And look, when it comes time for re-election, I think this case is probably going to come back to haunt him because of how I think that the public has perceived him, and on a national level, there's been a lot of fire at him. Look, I'm going to give him some cover because when you go into these initial cases, it is not illegal for an adult to disappear. So oftentimes when we go into a case where there's somebody that's not there, it doesn't always start off as an abduction or a kidnapping case. You have to then start to look and see, is there evidence? Is there dementia? Is there mental health issues? Or is there evidence to believe that this was a violent or an abduction or something else?
Right.
Now, you're not going to maybe see that initially, and I don't know.
Yeah, but the thing, they did see blood. There's blood right out the front door. And they say there was blood inside. So I'm saying no on giving him a pass on that. Yes, I love Mark Lamb too.
How they processed the scene initially, but they did come up with enough to say, yes, this looks like an abduction case, or at least removed without her will. And we've got enough on the scene to tell us that. So we're going to treat this case a little bit differently. So you don't always go into the case thinking this is an abduction.
And I don't want to drag the guy anymore. I do want to talk about the investigative tactics, though, because I'm not an investigator, but I've learned a lot from you, certainly. By the way, go and support his candidacy, sherifflame.com, sherifflame.com. You get to the scene, and again, we don't know that it's Savannah Guthrie's mother yet. And she disappeared early in the morning on Sunday morning. And nobody even knows that she's gone until she doesn't show up for Sunday Mass, right? Or Sunday.
See, there again, that's what everybody thinks. And we just now found out that she didn't attend church physically. She would watch it on a live stream. She would watch the live stream. And they said it wasn't a situation where people would even know whether she was even in the live stream or not. So what I want to know now is, how did they know she was actually missing? Because that's where it all started at, and that fell apart today. I just found out about it today. That changes everything. What made the family think that she wasn't there? That they needed to go check on her? Very weird.
A service. So you got a good long time there. That's probably a good 8-10 hours before you even know that she's missing. You get a missing persons report. You go there. So far, this is not an international intrigue story. I get it. But Mark, look, again, I'm kind of a dumb guy when it comes to investigating. You've got blood at her front door. You've got the camera is disabled, right, and you can see that. Spotlights are knocked out or they're not working right. And her car is still there, but she's not. At that point, you're now in the investigative mode. Would you have released, and again, this isn't about dragging Nanos, I'm just asking you investigatively, would you have released the house a day or two later? I mean, they said, okay, we're all clear. They took the crime tape down. I don't get it.
No, we've sat on houses for lesser things for days at a time.
Yeah.
And this would have been something that until you were sure that you had all the evidence, you would continue, because this is a very fluid case, Joe. You're getting information, tips, ransom letters, you're getting all this stuff.
Right.
And you've got to be able to process it, evaluate it, to make sure that the information they may be giving you on a ransom letter is legit, because the house has been undisturbed since she left. But I was actually hearing from people that are providing security down there that when they need to use the bathroom, they go inside the house and use the bathroom.
Oh,
so
come
the
on.
scene has really been lost, and it's been shut, it's been roped off multiple times. Look, everybody, it's easy 2020. Hindsight is 2020.
Right.
But one of the first rules of crime scene is you got to lock down the scene and hold it.
See? Can you imagine? People are just traipsing in and out of the house. It was bad enough that people were all over outside. This is not good. This is not good.
As long as you can, especially if there's no need for anybody to get back into the home. This is something you want to lock down and keep it locked down so that you can preserve whatever evidence may be there, so that when you do find her, you can also ensure a conviction as well. And whether the crime stops at the kidnapping, if it, or heaven forbid, it progresses into what could potentially be a murder, you want to make sure that you preserve all of the evidence that you can. And as far as this being so international and across this country, we're enthralled with true crime. It's to the point where I've even started a true crime channel on YouTube.
Yeah.
But we love true crime, and we're living this right now. We're all in this investigation together. And so that is part of the intrigue. I've been saying on some of the media, and I don't want to get too far off the path because I want to stay focused on this case, but I wish that we gave missing children cases the same attention nationally and in media-wise and resource-wise as we are giving to this case.
Yes.
Not that I want to take away from this case, but I think that a lot of families are saying to themselves, they did not give me this type of attention, and my child went missing. And I would hope that we would learn something through this case from that.
Well, I hope that we do as well. And that's certainly going to resonate with somebody like me. I've got 5 daughters. I get it, without a doubt. But let's go back to what you said before that. The reason why you've got a YouTube channel on true crime, and the reason why when I interviewed this FBI investigator the other day, it went absolutely ballistic. People are locked to their devices. I just want an update. When we have something where we just don't know, we have no idea, I think that really grabs our attention. And now here's Savannah Guthrie forced to go on television, do these, or on Instagram and do these videos with her brother and sister. The whole thing is so screwed up. Let's talk about the case and and by the way, no, please.
Can I tell you something about those videos real quick? I don't mean to interrupt, Joe, because I don't want you to get too far away. Those videos, they are purposeful as well. If you're familiar with how we do cases with missing people, those messages were very
thank you.
They were very purposeful. Not to kill that word, but they were very purposeful. What happened is she says, look, we want to open a line of communication. That's one of the things you do with somebody that's been kidnapped. Number 2, you have an ask of the kidnappers. You say, we need proof of life on this case. So that, and we don't want to see, there's a lot of fake stuff out there. So please give us real proof of life. And the third thing that you will do is humanize the victim, which they did. Both the brother and Savannah, they've done in those videos. They humanize her. She's our mother. We love her. She's a great woman. This is what you do. So while that was, they don't tell you exactly what to say. They were following a script that FBI or law enforcement, we use that script to be able to get this case moving to where we need to get it moving.
It's such a great point. I'm glad that, and by the way, there's a little bit of a delay between us, so don't worry about it. Just jump in if you want to interrupt. It is Sheriff Mark Lamb, retired, Pinal County, Arizona, running for District 5, Republican, great state of Arizona, sherifflame.com. Let's talk about that a little bit further. Mark, is it weird that the ransom note isn't going to the family? It's not even going to the police. The ransom note should go into the local KOLD Channel 13 or something. What does that tell you?
Oh, I'm so glad he asked him that. That's what I want to know. Because I feel like that's super weird.
That this guy is sending, or these people are sending these notes, if they're real, to a local TV station.
So I'm a little dubious as to whether they are real, first of all, Joe. All right. We've already had one where somebody got arrested. There's supposedly been some information in there, and I've heard a little bit behind the scenes that I don't want to divulge. But there's been information in those letters that would indicate that these might be legit. And you have to treat them as such if you don't know for sure they're not.
Right.
You've got to treat them as legit. part of the reason they may be sending them to the media is because it provides a level of protection. The freedom of press is probably going to give a little bit of buffer. I don't know that the press
That's a
would
good
share
point.
an IP address or share information
Okay.
on a source as readily as maybe the family would be able to immediately. The FBI is going to be on it, looking for the IP, looking for any information they can to track down where those are coming from. So that could be one of the reasons. What is odd to me, well, I was asked yesterday, what is odd to me is the $6 million figure.
Right.
And they said, why? And I said, well, why not 5? Why not 10? It's just weird that somebody would pick $6 million as that number. Some of the information I've heard that is information coming from in the house. I'll tell you, one of them was like, I think iPhone, watch charge. I don't want to say what the other one was. So there was enough information for them to say, we better take this serious. So I don't know whether it's been vetted to be true, but they have to err on the side of caution.
It is Sheriff Mark Levin. Sheriff, I've got to ask you, because my brain's going a million miles a minute trying to figure out, if I were a bad guy, and I'm not, so I can't really get into that mindset. If I were going to be holding somebody for ransom, the first thing I would do is show signs of life. Why? I wouldn't think I would be getting paid if I can't prove that I still have the person alive. Why do you think we haven't gotten a sign of life yet? And I'm not asking you, is she dead or alive? I'm just wondering, if you really want to get that money, and Savannah just said in the most recent one, we will pay. Why wouldn't you give me something that shows me that she's still alive?
Well, this is why I struggle to believe that these ransom letters are true. That's why it gives me pause, is because you're right. You would show proof of life. Say, look, we have it. So that would make them want to give the money should there be an actual abduction, if this was legit. They would want to pay the money because they've seen the proof of life. If you were scamming, if you were just a really good scammer, which there are, and you were taking advantage of this situation, you would be unable to show proof of life. So you're going to try to muscle them into making the payment and then tell them you're going to drop her off in a safe location. They didn't say they would drop her off safely. They just said they would drop her off in a safe location somewhere in Tucson. And I think that's a big distinction. So.
Okay, I hadn't heard that yet. Because I had not heard that what they said about getting her back if they did pay. I personally hadn't heard that. So that was news to me right there. Yeah, and it's been a while. See, that's the thing. So what happens now? What's going to happen now that this... I heard that they originally asked for $4 million, and that was Thursday's deadline. Monday's deadline was $6 million. But this is just what I've heard. I mean, I don't know. Obviously, I don't know. It's so weird. And there's a lot of things that they know that we don't. But, somebody could be doing this after something went wrong and maybe something happened to her and they were trying to cover it up. But I haven't heard that anything was taken from the home either. Right? Oh, you haven't freaking? It's constant. Right. They have now taken both the car. They took the car of the daughter and son-in-law. That was pretty quick. They did that pretty quickly. And then they just took Nancy's car. Right. Hello, Texas lady. Freaking. Hello. They took Nancy's car now just the other day. Right. Yeah. Right, Queen. Right. Yeah, that's what I was thinking, Frazzle. They haven't mentioned any, like, that there was any kind of robbery that went on. Yep. There was blood out the front door. Not real far. That's the thing. Not like all the way where you would get into a car. It doesn't. It's on the front steps. And we've heard that there was some inside. And it was, and it does belong to, the test came back that it is hers. Right. Yeah, Frazzle. I don't know either. And that was days later. Yeah, there is a trail of blood spots. I'll find a thing and show you. But it doesn't go like off of the step out front. Right. They did have dogs out there. They did. Yes, freaking it is. Yep. Yep. She takes blood pressure medication that she's supposed to take every day. Well, and it does appear that they did something with luminol or something maybe at the daughter's house 2 nights ago. JLR is out there live constantly. Yep, they did.
That gives me pause. We deal with a lot of cartel stuff. You get a lot of cartel abductions, and they are much more apt to show like a proof of life. And this doesn't have any of those signs to me, those tells. And I've discussed it with other people.
No, that's it. That is true. She is supposed to have it every day. And the thing is, maybe they found a way to get her medicine. Especially if she is in Mexico, her home is very close to the Mexican border. If she is in Mexico, they could get medication easily. And maybe they could anyway. I don't know. I wouldn't know how to just get it, but people do, I guess. I know. He is. But he did catch some really good coyote sounds. I'm gonna play. We need to check that out because that's a very familiar sound to me. Right. No, absolutely. I know, Queen. I've been saying that too. I'm like, that's crazy. Yeah, I mean, and that's what you hope, freaking. That's what you hope, that they did do something to get her medication, because she has to have it. Of course, I feel like, I don't know. We don't know. No, I know that's what I'm saying. It's a very familiar sound, but I could tell like JLR was really freaked out by the coyote sounds. And I know I've talked to you guys on here before about up at the cabin, how we hear that every night. Because it is a crazy sound. It is. Sounds like somebody's screaming. like sirens a little bit.
that have dealt with them as well. This doesn't feel like that. This really feels there's some familiarity in how
Yep.
this went about. And that's always going to be kind of how you're going to look at first anyway. Over 90% of cases like this are done by somebody who's familiar with the family or even a family member, heaven forbid. So that's going to be where you're going to
Yep.
really kind of start your targeting in that area.
Every night.
Mark, as you were speaking, Savannah Guthrie dropped another video. And you haven't seen this. I haven't seen this. I will try to edit it in later, but I'll let you hear it as we do this interview live. And if you don't mind, give me your thoughts as soon as this is done. It's about a minute and a half long. Tell me what you think about this, because the last video that we just saw, a lot of people started questioning whether Nancy Guthrie was alive
show the new
for the
one.
simple reason that they were like, we want to be at peace, or we want to celebrate with her. They didn't ask for proof of life last time. This is what Savannah Guthrie dropped. This is less than 30 minutes ago.
Hi there, everybody. I wanted to come on and just share a few thoughts as we enter into another week of this nightmare. I just want to say, first of all, thank you so much for all of the prayers and the love that we have felt, my sister and brother and I, and that our mom has felt, because we believe that somehow, some way, she is feeling these prayers, and that God is lifting her even in this moment and in this darkest place. We believe our mom is still out there. We need your help. Law enforcement is working tirelessly around the clock, trying to bring her home, trying to find her. She was taken and we don't know where. And we need your help. So I'm coming on just to ask you, not just for your prayers, but no matter where you are, even if you're far from Tucson, if you see anything, if you hear anything, if there's anything at all that seems strange to you, that you report to law enforcement. We are at an hour of desperation, and we need your help.
She just posted that a half an hour ago. Mark, what do you think?
So the initial pleas were to the kidnappers, the abductors.
Okay, see, to me, freaking, that seemed more real than the other ones. The other ones have seemed very bizarre to me. Very, very bizarre. I have really had a hard time with them. I really have. That one seemed more genuine than any of it. Is that the only one you've seen? Wow. See, because I did think that before. Oh, thank you, Try Me. That's so sweet. Yeah, they seemed really, really weird. That is the most normal. I'm serious. We're going to watch another one that has the Silence of the Lamb thing. It's really creepy, actually.
This plea, because that's gone nowhere. So now
this is real new.
This plea is to the public. And this is really to somebody who may have information, who may know the people that are responsible for what's going on. And you're hoping that you can reach them emotionally to be able to strike a chord within somebody that might have information that normally probably wouldn't give it up, that may be getting concerned they don't want to get roped in with the crime. So I think this is actually more for, obviously, more for the, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure that out, but it's more for the public. And it's really probably targeted more to those who might have intimate knowledge of what's going on and trying to strike a chord with those people.
She uses the word desperation, Sheriff. I mean, obviously she's very frustrated. She's not getting the answers that maybe she thinks that she needs. And certainly she doesn't have her mom back, so I understand where she's coming from. But to use the word desperation, what does that tell you?
Well, desperation means that they haven't had a lot of hope, which means they haven't been given anything, maybe there's no leads. I don't know. I would like to believe that the video they recovered from the gas station and some of the other businesses that they've been approaching, that maybe they've gotten some.
Hey, that was Queen's sheriff just very recently, Mr. Lamb. He is handsome. No, I think so too. I felt very uncomfortable about the first one, and then maybe even more on the second one, I think. Like, yeah, I felt very weird about all of it. I have. Something does not sit right.
Video information that has given them some leads to work off of. When the agencies kind of go quiet, it leads me to believe that they're working leads, and they don't want to disturb the they don't want to rustle up the weeds too much, because they don't want the suspect to go quiet on them. And so I think that they've probably got something there. And maybe this is to make them feel comfortable. Maybe they're closer than we think. There's a lot at play. I'm kind of
He's not
using some speculation here on many ends, but there's a lot that could be going on.
It is Sheriff Mark Lamb, retired, Pinal County, Arizona, running for District 5 Republican, great state of Arizona. Go to sherifflamb.com and help him win that seat. Andy Biggs is running for governor of Arizona. That's why that seat is going to be available.
Yep, he's running for Andy Biggs' seat, because Andy Biggs is going to be our new governor, because this stupid hooker is going to be gone. I just want to say really quick, that picture right behind Sheriff Lamb, I have that picture. I love that picture very much. I know you guys can't see it very well, but it's actually, it is George Washington praying. It's one of my favorites. So yeah, okay, let's see. Let's play this if you guys haven't seen them. Because he's getting ready to go off there. Louise is trying to go out. Thank you. I don't know if you guys have ever, do you guys ever listen to Joe Pags? I do. You might want to check him out. But this right here is really, this right here is kind of creepy. Okay, I'm going to play the long version, I think, then. Okay, I'm not sure if I have it. No, there really hasn't been. It's been super, super weird. Hey, Maze. What are you thinking about this? Is it crazy or what? This is really weird. You guys. I mean, I don't know. This doesn't really mean anything, but it's weird to me.
Is coming back to surface, and we'll explain why, and pay particularly close attention to the ending. Watch.
On behalf of our family, we want to thank all of you for the prayers for our beloved mom, Nancy. We feel them, and we continue to believe that she feels them too. Our mom is a kind, faithful, loyal, fiercely loving woman of goodness and light. She is funny, spunky, and clever. She has grandchildren that adore her and crowd around her and cover her with kisses. She loves fun and adventure. She is a devoted friend She is full of kindness and knowledge. Talk to her and you'll see.
Talk to her and you'll see. It's kind of an interesting phrase. And notice how Savannah's sister Annie seems to take a deep breath at that very moment. It sounds like a phrase we might have heard before, and online sleuths confirm indeed we probably have. They discovered that line is from the 1991 horror crime film Silence of the Lambs. Before we play the clip, let me tell you what the movie's about. Most of you know, but some of our audience is younger and may not. The main character, Clarice Starling, is played by Jodie Foster. Starling is investigating the kidnapping of Catherine Martin, the 25-year-old daughter of the fictional Senator Ruth Martin. Catherine,
Everybody
the daughter,
knows this
has been
movie, right?
kidnapped by Buffalo Bill, a serial killer who skins his female victims. In the scene where the phrase "talk to her and you'll see" is used, it's the kidnapping victim's mother, Senator Ruth Martin, sending a message to her daughter's captor. Watch.
Our top story for this morning. Catherine Martin, the 25-year-old daughter of Senator Ruth Martin, listed first as a missing person, is now believed to have been kidnapped by the serial killer known only as Buffalo Bill. Memphis police sources indicate that the missing girl's blouse has been identified, sliced up the back in what has become a kind of grim, all too familiar calling card. Young Catherine Martin, as we've said, is the only daughter of U.S. Senator Ruth Martin, the Republican junior senator from Tennessee. And while her kidnapping is not at this point considered to be politically motivated, nevertheless, it has stirred the government to its highest levels. Reach for comment on the ski slopes of Stowe, Vermont. The president himself said to be, and I quote, intensely concerned. Just moments ago, Senator Martin takes this dramatic personal plea.
I'm speaking now to the person who's holding my daughter. Catherine is very gentle and kind. Talk to her and you'll see.
See? Yes. No, you're right. That's what I think too. Yeah. Yeah, Holly, I think so. Yep. It has to be. Isn't that weird? I do remember, though, it just seemed really strange to me. That was one of the things that really was odd. And then I heard this today. And that's, the thing is, like of course, I know that it was a movie, right? But they were talking to the FBI and stuff. They do all this research. Exactly right. You're exactly right. Yep. They did. But isn't that weird? Because he wasn't sending letters out or, ransom notes. Buffalo Bill wasn't. Remember, he took people that were overweight and then he starved them so he could get their skin, making a bodysuit. Yeah, super strange though. This for this to be a real thing, not a movie. She ends up playing them, I think, side by side. I think. We'll see.
You heard that right at the end. Let's watch them back to back.
She is full of kindness and knowledge. Talk to her and you'll see.
I'm speaking now to the person who's holding my daughter. Catherine is very gentle and kind. Talk to her and you'll see.
Both reference how kind the person is and end with "talk to her and you'll see."
Isn't that weird? So weird. So, I don't know if you guys have heard. So Ashley Banfield came out and said that she had a source that said that the daughter and son-in-law, the son-in-law was maybe the prime suspect. And then she actually was the first one to say that they had taken the daughter and son-in-law's vehicle and impounded it for evidence. And that turned out to be true. So now they really have, a lot of people have come out and said no, which I understand that. But I don't think that Ashley Banfield, like she said, I'm not trying to ruin my reputation after this many years. I mean, she's doubling down on that. Oh, have you heard that, Maze? I have not. You wonder what the paper... Oh, she does, though. She does, Frazzled. She actually did. Not in this clip. Yeah, hers was weird, too. Yeah, let me find both of those. Yeah, I hadn't heard that. Some guy came up to JLR there outside the house and said that the son-in-law has gambling problems, but I don't know where this guy got that from. Yeah, let me find that one. Today, the one that really blew my mind, though, is the fact that they said she hadn't attended church physically since COVID. That blows the whole thing to me. It just blows everything up. How did they realize that she was missing? That doesn't make sense. Really, Maze? That's weird. That's so funny, Froggle. I haven't heard where. Well, the way I heard it today is that they would have no way of knowing whether she was watching or not. There wasn't a way to chat. There wasn't a chat. That's what I'm saying, Maze. That was the first thing that got me today. That really blew my mind because that's been the whole way that they knew she was missing. That a friend said she didn't come to church. That's what they have said the whole time. And called the family and said she wasn't at church today. And that's when the family went over there. That's what we've been told the whole time. So that is definitely something very weird. It just totally contradicts everything that we thought. Because what else would cause that? And the thing is, they went there at 11 something. Church is not even over till noon. Most places. I don't really know. I mean, it might be different. But that was pretty early for someone to decide they needed to go check on her. Right. Right. Well, and they said, so she took an Uber to her daughter's house the night before, and then they brought her home. It's been kind of contradicting. They said the daughter and son-in-law took her home, and then they kind of alluded to the son-in-law only took her home. Right. Right, Queen. That's just it. The sheriff has given a lot of different times on things. I don't like this church thing. It's just different because of all the weird, we've heard some different things that had stayed the same until this morning, to my knowledge. Yep, they are. Right. I agree. That's the one thing that should have not changed. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, Max. That throws all of that off. For me, that was maybe one of the most significant things I've heard, honestly, in my opinion. Yeah, I wonder where he is. Right. That's what I was saying. To me, that is so significant. It throws everything off because it makes why did her daughter go over there looking, thinking something was wrong? What caused somebody to contact her daughter, which it sounds like that really could not have happened. Right? Right. It changes everything for me. Right. No, I totally get that too. And that would be the thing, okay, if that's the way that happened, right? But whenever you say she didn't show up for church, so somebody from church called her daughter. And that's why she went to go check on her. That's what makes it really weird. Where did all that come from? They did have dogs there, from my understanding. Hey, Becca. Good to see you. Yeah, I've been so busy, but I've been wanting to talk about this because it's driving me nuts. I feel like something is weird. I feel like something is not right. Right. That's what I think. Same here, Maze. That's what I'm saying. They said they had tracking dogs, like Border Patrol dogs were there. Those are good dogs. They don't just have, they had tracking, they have all kinds. From what they said, that sheriff leaves a lot. He makes me, and I'm not trying to be a stink, but okay, wait. I'm trying to find one that has all of them in it. Right. No, that's the thing. Right, very not far from where this woman lives. is the border. And so they have every kind of dog, believe me. They do. And from what I heard, they have had Queen, that was the same one, right? Because the sister spoke first. I hate to say that the family's acting weird and stuff. I hate to say that because it's a really horrible, horrible thing. But I do feel like they're acting weird. Okay, this should be it.
Now let's take a listen.
On behalf of our family, we want to thank all of you for the prayers for our beloved mom, Nancy. We feel them, and we continue to believe that she feels them too. Our mom is a kind, faithful, loyal, fiercely loving woman of goodness and light.
Yeah.
She's funny, spunky, and clever.
That's what I'm saying.
She has grandchildren that adore her and crowd around her and cover her with kisses.
Hey, Bootsy.
She loves fun and adventure. She is a devoted friend. She is full of kindness and knowledge.
Yeah,
Talk to
right,
her.
Bootsy. That's what I heard too. But
The
that
light
goes
is
against
missing
what we've
from
been
our
told
lives.
this whole time.
Nancy is our mother. We are her children. She is our beacon.
See, is that weird? She is our mother. We are her children. I don't know. It all, again, but I'm not really trying. I'm seriously not trying to be a shit. Like, what would you say? Right? Like, I don't know how I would behave. I would literally be a mess. Yeah. Well, and they said before they did this one, the FBI had come in, had gone in the house with camera, tripods and ring lights and stuff. Because, there's people, they can't do anything without someone knowing about it. You got JLR right there. He is on it. And if they're, if they really are talking to, a kidnapper, the FBI would be telling them what to say. But that's weird. She's our mother. We are her child. I don't know. Everything is weird to me. It's been weird to me, and now the whole church thing has me. I can't. Not with the church thing. That's got me. Okay, let me back it up a little second for the sister.
She holds fast. Nancy.
Talk to her and you'll see.
The light is missing from our lives. Nancy is our mother. We are her children. She is our beacon. She holds fast to joy in all of life's circumstances. She chooses joy day after day. Despite having already passed through great trials of pain and grief, we are always going to be merely human, just normal human people who need our mom.
Is that weird, you guys? I know that the FBI is involved in what they're saying, but did they tell him that? Super weird to me.
Mama, if you're listening, we need you to come home. We miss you.
Our mom is our heart and our home. She is 84 years old. Her health, her heart is fragile. She lives in constant pain. She is without any medicine. She needs it to survive. She needs it not to suffer. We too have heard the reports about a ransom letter in the media. As a family, we are doing everything that we can. We are ready to talk. However, we live in a world where voices and images are easily manipulated.
That's very true.
We need to know, without a doubt, that she is alive and that you have her. We want to hear from you, and we are ready to listen. Please reach out to us. Mommy, if you are hearing this, you are a strong woman. You are God's precious daughter, Nancy. We believe and know that even in this valley, He is with you. Everyone is looking for you, Mommy, everywhere. We will not rest. Your children will not rest until we are together again. We speak to you every moment, and we pray without ceasing, and we rejoice in advance for the day that we hold you in our arms again. We love you, Mom.
We love you, Mom. Stay strong.
We love you, Mom. We love you.
Isn't it weird? And then the second one, to me, I know, right? Yeah, it's so, well, no, actually, because that sheriff says crazy shit. He says contradicting stuff. Honestly, I think it's okay that he went to the game. It is. You're right. Where's the second one? We got to find the second one, because when she says celebrate, that to me, Mr. Snotty says he doesn't think that's weird. That to me was very, very weird. It just doesn't sit well with me. Well, I think they don't really know. First of all, I think if they can find anything legitimate about these ransom notes, they have to take it serious. But yet they just really have to look at everything, right? Now, my understanding is they didn't pay today. And I don't know what happened. The deadline was 5 o'clock today. Right. Exactly. And I don't know. Is this true about the church? Because if it is, that has been my mind mess. That really messed with my head. I felt that Celebrate thing was weird. Yeah. We watched that one too. Yeah. She did have makeup on. Yep. That one seemed like it was her. Like that was her, right? Like she said what she wanted to say. It seemed like, hey, Panda. Well, there's been ransom notes sent to one to TMZ and 2 different ones to a local news station in Tucson. There was some other text messages, I think, sent to the family by some weird guy. He's already been caught and arrested. Because he wasn't even hard to find that one. This one, what they say is they can't, they're not able to get an IP address because it's emails that's been sent. So I think that's not true. I think that the FBI can get an address. But and they don't have to tell us everything. I get that. But if today we're going to find out that she didn't go to church physically, that is something way too much for my brain, because that's been the whole thing. It's all been centered around that. And that has me feeling so weird today. Boats, did you see the where she says the same thing that they say in Silence of the Lamb? That's all creepy too. Okay, the second one. I want the other one. Where is? Oh, here it is. Here it is. Let me see. Here is the second one. Again, I think this one is actually weirder to me.
Our own Savannah Guthrie is out with a new video message directed toward whoever may have kidnapped her mother. Let's listen in.
We received your message and we understand. We beg you now to return our mother to us so that we can celebrate with her. This is the only way we will have peace. This is very valuable to us, and we will pay.
Now, police have been looking for Nancy.
Does that sound weird to you? This is very valuable to us. So weird. And celebrate. I don't know. I would be saying, and I know the FBI is helping them, and I'm really not trying to dog. I'm just saying it's so super strange to me. Like, I just need to see that my mom's okay. You have to I need something to know. Celebrate sounds strange as shit to me.
Guthrie for more than
Our mother to us.
Again.
Our own Savannah Guthrie is out with a new video message directed toward whoever may have kidnapped her mother. Let's listen in.
We received your message and we understand. We beg you now to return our mother to us so that we can celebrate with her. This is the only way we will have peace. This is very valuable to us, and we will pay.
Now, police have been.
Isn't that weird? The brother looks really uncomfortable. I don't know. This is so weird to me. Boots, did you hear today about the church though? Because that, I hate to keep saying that, but that really, when I first got up this morning, Mr. Snotty told me about the church, and I was like, hold on. I was not. I know. I think it's strange. I do. I don't want to be a shit. Yeah. Yep. I feel like the sister does act a little bit strange. I do. I mean, how are you supposed to act? I don't know. I don't. I hate to be a jackass. I really do. Yep. I know. I know. Well, that's the thing. In the first one, she did say, today, it's really hard to tell if anything's real or not. And they acted like, but this one, they're like, we hear you and we understand. Like, it's just weird. I don't know. You think, Holly, they're close? Yes, the celebrate bothers me too. I don't know that it does. And I'm not trying to be a shit. I'm really not. It bothers me. It makes me feel weird. Let's see if anything's happened since we've been on here. Yeah, that's exactly what I feel like. And then just to say we need her for peace, right? That's what I was wondering too. Is it just because like they already feel like she's not alive? I don't know. Well, I don't know, TMZ was saying earlier that they have been checking the account because this went to them initially. And they have the account where the money's supposed to go, and nothing has been in there. But do we know that to be true? I don't know. Let's see what's on X. That'll give us something. Let's see if something is on here. Oh my gosh. Yep. Okay. What the heck? Mm, okay, let's see. See? Oh, okay. I'm just seeing right now it says family source challenges how Nancy Guthrie's disappearance unfolded from the start. She was expected at a friend's home, not the church. Okay. See, that's what I needed. I needed to hear something like that. That makes me feel better. But see, it's been said church the whole time. Yeah. Wait, what? You know what's weird? Your comments aren't showing up. Like for a long time, there's nothing, and then like a whole bunch show up at once. So I'm kind of missing. Oh yeah, I agree, Debbie. I agree. No, I'm very happy to hear that though, because if the church thing was not a thing, then that had me really wound up. Right, right. But Boots, that's what they said from the beginning is the reason they called the kids and said, had them go over and look. So that makes me feel better at least. I mean, the sheriff has gotten a lot of things wrong. He actually has. Okay, let's see. Okay, let's see. Yeah. Oh, see, yeah, that's the thing, freaking what I heard this morning was they would not be able to see. That's what I did hear. Yep. No, I feel much better about all that. It's still weird that the sheriff has said that several times. What is going on here? Okay, this was 7 minutes ago, so maybe this is something.
And the ransom notes
Right, let's
is the Guthrie family believes there is at least a chance the ransom notes are from Nancy's captor or captors. There's no other explanation for the 3 Instagram videos from Savannah's account where the siblings ask for further communication about how to get their mother home. To help us analyze all this, we wanted to bring in a seasoned hostage negotiator, and it's hard to find someone with more experience than our next guest. Commander Daniel O'Shea is a retired Navy SEAL who served as the coordinator of the hostage working group for the U.S. Embassy in Iraq from 2004 to 2006. O'Shea managed more than 400 hostage incidents in his time in Iraq, and by the time he left, kidnappings had dropped to the single digits. Dan, welcome to the show.
It's my pleasure and honor to be here, Megan.
Okay, so we're going to play it one more time, the latest video, and get your take on what, if anything, you think has changed here. Here it is. This was released on Saturday night.
We received your message and we understand. We beg you now to return our mother to us so that we can celebrate with her. This is the only way we will have peace. This is very valuable to us, and we will pay.
What do you make of it, Dan?
It's heartbreaking. I saw hundreds of these pleas from families from all over the world to try and bring their loved one home that was taken hostage by the likes of Al-Qaeda and other jihadist groups in Iraq. So it's troubling because it's the pain and anguish of not knowing, and it brings back a lot of flashback of a lot of memories. But you can never give up hope. We had cases where there was a deadline set. Presumably, we know this group harmed, Miss Guthrie in the initial abduction because there was blood left at the scene, and we only know what blood was left outside. We don't know anything about what's been done forensically inside the house. So that's my biggest concern, is that the propensity for violence from the get-go is why everyone should be very concerned, and not so much because of the deadline, but because that the group's doing this has already shown they're willing to be violent with an 84-year-old woman, grandmother as well.
So, I mean, one of the big questions here is, are the people torturing the family with these notes the same people that have or hurt Nancy Guthrie 8.5 days ago? I was saying to Brian Enton in the first segment, Dan, I just have a really hard time believing the people writing these notes were involved in Nancy's kidnapping or whatever happened to her, because I was saying that if I had Nancy Guthrie, if I went to the trouble to kidnap somebody and then wanted to prove to somebody that I had her, I would not be referencing some damaged floodlight or where her Apple Watch was in her home. That's bullshit. That's the kind of stuff you manage to see through a window. And to me, it sounds like you're trying to sound like you know more than you do. If you've got Nancy, you can ask her anything that would prove to her 3 children, and know her better than anybody, that you actually have her. You don't have to do a picture. You don't need a video.
Right.
You just need her to tell you things only the children and the mother would remember.
Right. That's the thing. That would be a very good idea, to say something that, your first pet, was a goldfish, right? So what was I saw something. No. They didn't I don't think they contacted Savannah to go look for her. They contacted the daughter, Annie. But yeah, I don't think this had anything to do with Savannah until later. The original story was that she didn't show up for church. That's what we've heard for days. And so her friends or somebody from church contacted her daughter, Annie, who lives very near her. and said she didn't show up for church, so they went over to check on her. Now, I just saw on X that they're saying she was supposed to meet with a friend and didn't meet with the friend. At least that makes sense. I don't know why we kept saying church all along.
Member from their childhoods.
100%. And that's, you're not a H&R, a K&R background or hostage negotiator, but I had that suspicion from almost day one when the first ransom note came out. First off, they sent the ransom note to TMZ, a tabloid network, and then the local news media. All right. That's not how K&R Kidnap for Ransom works. If kidnapping is a business around the world, and the groups that do the kidnapping, they have the prize. They grab the prize and they want to keep that prize protected. And they want to demonstrate to the prospective buyer, payer, that we have who you're looking for. Let's start the negotiation. And you come out with a large number. That 4 million initial to 6 million, the latest ransom demand, that's not outside the norm range for an American, because that's, this is a big business. And because obviously Savannah Guthrie, big news network, morning show host, she's going to have the resources to probably come up with that kind of money, and that's what they're counting on. But then you've got to negotiate in good faith. And from no way, shape, or form has the group that is claiming to hold her been operating in good faith. And the fact that they haven't been able to provide a substantial proof of life, or even trying to submit some AI version of it, which could have been, suspect that they're trying to do this. But I am suspect that the group that has her is the group that took her responsible for abduction is the group that is sending these messages. They may be related, but I really think this is part of the show and drama to drive up this news media story. And why is that happening? Let's go to the underlying motives. And the motives may not be money. And I don't think it's money they want here. I think they want the news media attention, focus on this case, and maybe get some other news stories off the net. And then go,
Wow. Okay, that's weird. I had not thought of that at all. But like what? This is really weird. Really, Panda? Oh my God. See, had you thought that before? I believe it's a show for sure, but wow. It does. I had not thought of that at all. I haven't heard anybody say that. But wow, like what though? I mean, literally kidnap somebody for that? That's crazy. Oh my God. No, it doesn't make sense. You're right about that's what I'm saying, Panda. It doesn't make sense to me. None of this does. Oh, okay, Queen. Well, yeah, I mean, I think sometimes that does happen, right? Where you don't realize something's going to blow up so big, right? But why send it to TMZ? Like that just really seems crazy to me. Like it just makes it not seem real to me. Wow. Oh my goodness. I had not thought of that.
They target, Savannah Guthrie. And you have to look at, well, she's not a controversial figure like yourself, or say Candace Owen, where you have people on the left or right. I mean, just being honest, that you've got enemies. You've got people that don't like you. But, Savannah Guthrie is,
what did he say?
I don't watch her more enemy. Candace Owen, where you have people on
my God, that's going to make me die laughing.
The underlying motive sending these messages. They may be related, but I really think this is part of the show and drama to drive up this news media story. And why is that happening? Let's go to the underlying motives. And the motives may not be money. And I don't think it's money they want here. I think they want the news media attention, focus on this case, and maybe get some other news stories off the net. And then go, why did they target, Samantha Guthrie? And you have to look at, well, she's not a controversial figure like yourself, or say Candace Owen, where you have people on the left or right. I mean, just being honest, that you've got enemies. You've got people that don't like you. But, Savannah Guthrie is, I don't watch the morning show, but I know who she is. And she's like a very nice lady. And, what's the most controversial thing she's ever done? Maybe some of her interviews in the past.
Well, I mean, she's not controversial, but that doesn't rule out some freak stalker who just interpreted some report she did as an attack or as some sort of, that element is still alive and well around her. And we can't rule that out, that it's some stranger who's obsessed with her.
Oh, of course. But then why are you going after the mother unless you're trying to hurt her? So who has a reason to want to hurt Savannah Guthrie? Wouldn't it be the list would not be long, but go to some of her interviews. And I'm not the one coming up with this. Because this conversation I've had, with virtually everyone I've talked to, especially offline, when you don't have a 2-minute segment on a news channel. She interviewed a lot of the Epstein victims, in-depth interviews with Virginia Giuffre and some of the other women. And what came out a week before this abduction, days before, the Epstein files, all over the news. And now what is taken over the news media? And maybe that was done intentionally. I'm not saying that's the case, but there's more to this group. I do not think
Oh Lord, this gives Candace Owens a whole lot more to go on, right? Yes, I think so. I think this is a little too much, Holly. Oh Lord. Well, Candace Owens has already started in about, Arizona. I don't know what happened, but seriously, you're going to kidnap? I can't go that far down this road. I can't do that. My very first thought was it's somebody who has worked at the home, somebody very familiar with the family, with the home, look at her pool. We're there in the middle of the desert and it's winter. Her pool looks gorgeous. She has a pool guy, there's no doubt. She's got landscapers. She's on, property. She's on like an acre. She might have some home health care. Right. Exactly. My thought was initially that's what had happened, was somebody who has done work there. And I do feel a little bit about some of the family. There does seem to be something there with that. Well, they have checked the property. They had dogs and they had a lot of they had the Border Patrol, all kinds of agencies out there right out in the very beginning. And FBI took over, and also they had they impounded the daughter's car like 2 days in. About 2 days in, maybe. See, I never thought about the Uber driver because I didn't even know about the Uber driver right away. Just yesterday or the day before, God, I'm all confused at this point. I think it was yesterday. They had a big pole down in the septic tank. Right. Right. Maze. And you know the dogs, you know the kind of dogs they had there are good. They had, Border Patrol had the dogs out there. That's what I think. But I think they started out front or something and then moved to the back because the blood does not go through to the driveway. They had every kind of dog out there, tracking dogs. They had cadaver. They had every kind of dog. That is an area where very well skilled for sure. Hold on 1 second. This dog is going to really get, okay. But it does appear to, but it couldn't, right? Right. They did say there was also in the house, there was blood in the house. So that's what I'm saying. Did they start out front and then, because also it's been said that the back door was left open. Yeah. But they didn't secure it either. Right. Right, Frazzle. I don't think so either. This is so strange. Let's see if there's more on X. Right. That's what I've been saying too. Yep. That's what I was saying. So, because it doesn't appear to be a robbery, but maybe it does. We don't know. Right? Yep. Well, and Sheriff Lamb said earlier that the private security that the family has hired for outside the house, that both the houses, they're all just going in and out, going to the bathroom and stuff. Yeah, they said they thought it was the septic tank. It could have been a well also, but no, I know. I feel the same way. Oh, yeah, I don't that sheriff has kind of been, that's why I'm saying he's been all over the place. He's told a few different things. That's why I was saying earlier, whenever they were upset that he was at the basketball game, I think it's kind of good that he was at the basketball game, honestly. I mean, yeah, they did that yesterday. Yep. Something people, we don't know for sure, right? Either a well or a septic or something. It doesn't, no one has said that. In fact, everybody has been coming by because there's so much media there, you guys. It's crazy. It really is. Yep. I don't think so. because they took the crime scene tape and stuff that down like right away. Because Brian Enton is the one that went and found the blood droplets. Yeah. I know. It doesn't seem right. He's changed a lot of times and stuff, though. And I don't think he's doing it on purpose. Like, I think he's kind of mixed up. I'm thinking he's probably not going to win the next election, maybe. I don't know. But they can't be having people in and out of that house. That's really crazy, actually. Okay, yeah, and the ransom deadline is passed. I know. Yeah. Exactly, freaking. And that's just it. It was clear from what they've said, it was clear right out of the gate that it was a crime scene. Like immediately, it was clear it was a crime scene. And that's what Sheriff Lamb said earlier. He's like, we've held houses for way longer than that, for way less than that. And you had everybody just tromping all over it. It's not good. That's not good. Right. Yep. Okay, this is saying, wait, hold on. Oh no, this is just people thinking. Oh my gosh, freaking, that's horrible. Oh my God. Wow, that's terrible. I'm so sorry to hear that. God. But no, I agree though. Like I couldn't stand that they tore the Idaho house down. That made me crazy. Oh, thank you, Maze. It's been very good to chat with you also. Yeah, I'm hopefully going to be on more. I've been so busy. It's crazy. Thank you so much, though, for being here. Let me see if I think Dolly's actually there now, too. Oh, thank you. No, oh, no, I'm not trying to get into it. I just mean, I think that it should be preserved forever. Like, I don't know. Yeah, I wasn't trying to. Okay, I was going to say, I think Dolly was going there. See, so many things say breaking and it's not breaking. Well, that would be some really fucked up shit to take this woman because you want to change a narrative. I don't I have a really hard time getting my head around that. Come up there's a ton of things you could do. I mean, look at all this UFO shit we're saying now. Whatever the hell any of that means. To me, there's a reason that they always said there was no UFO. Now all of a sudden they're just vomiting shit about UFOs. I don't believe anything they say. Okay, I don't know. Oh, no. No, I don't think she does either. You mean Nancy, like the person? Right. No, I don't. Somebody was saying earlier that this could be a reason to just to take over the media, right? There's lots of shit you could do. You're going to go mess with the 84-year-old woman? Really? I can't get my head around that. That to me, I'm not buying. I mean, I'm not that I know, but this would make zero sense. I did hear someone say that they actually can trace Bitcoin. I do feel like something is not. I don't feel like this is what happened. I don't. Because I feel like if you actually really wanted a ransom for somebody, you would have contacted the family immediately, not TMZ. This just does not, something feels very weird about this. And I don't feel like it's going to be good, obviously. It's not good. But okay, what is this? Yeah, the look over here. Okay, let's check this out really quick. I love hearing all the stuff you guys think because I have been going nuts thinking about this lately.
So what's going on right now? I see three possibilities, Sean, and I'm not going to weight them. These are three possibilities. If you apply Occam's razor, I see could apply. The first would be, obviously, it's a kidnapping. That was an intended kidnapping for a ransom payment. That would be the first possibility.
See, that's where they were going down. I don't know if that's a septic tank or a water well or neither. I'm not pretending I'm familiar with either one, really. But this was just yesterday.
Again, I'm not weighting any of them. The second possibility would be this was just a crime that went awry. Someone was at the house. Maybe it was a burglary. Maybe something went bad, and that you've got some bad actors committing another crime unrelated. In other words, requesting a ransom for something you didn't do just to take advantage of a situation like this. The third possibility, again, this is and this is where I think you have to kind of think outside of the box, is especially given some of the messaging that we've seen lately, is the possibility that there may have been some kind of maybe a medical.
Right? Yeah, Frazzle. That's why I feel like it's a septic. I don't know for sure, but it seems like a septic to me. I would think out there, it's a rural area. I feel like they probably do have septic tanks.
Medical emergency or something, and maybe this was not a kidnapping. And I say that only because, and again, I'm not weighting these possibilities. We're just, when you can't find someone at a crime scene like this right away within the first couple of days, you either have really good surgical type operators, or the story you've been told or you may have believed may not be the story. I mean,
see, I agree with that. I think that's what it is, possibly. What you've been told is not the truth. That's kind of what I think. Oh, okay. I think we might have something here about the church. Oh, okay. Well, this is not, that's too long. Says clarification emerges on Nancy Guthrie's church attendance on Sunday morning. But that's an hour long. We're not going to watch that. Okay. I don't know where this comes from, though. I don't need to say it. It just says that locals delayed cooperating with the feds. I don't know if that's true or not. I can't imagine. Why would you? Okay, so everything I'm seeing, it's nothing really new. Okay, I'll just look at Brian Enton's real quick and see if he has come out. and then we'll shut it down. Oh, okay. Okay, I think we might have something on that. Okay, let's look at a little bit of this, and then we'll call it. This seems to be about okay, freaking, I'll check it out. Let's see what this says.
Saturday night, what happened at Annie's home?
Yeah, Megan, it kind of came out of nowhere. I was over at Nancy's house, which is about 10 minutes away, and I got a call like something's going down at Annie's house. So I raced over here. This is Annie's house behind me. And when I got here, there were 3 deputies that had just arrived. They have private security here. NBC hired private security, I'm told. And it seemed coordinated because the security guard just moved out of the way, let the 3 deputies in.
Okay, that's the first I've heard of NBC, right? You guys were saying that earlier. I had not heard anything about that. Anyway, it doesn't matter, but
and they had blue gloves on. They had some camera equipment that was in a case. They went inside and they were inside for 3 hours. They closed all the blinds. I could see them taking pictures. Yeah, there you go. Right. That's some of the stuff they brought out. I could see them taking pictures in the garage. You could see a flash from a camera, and then you could see them move throughout the house to other parts of the house because you could see the flash from the camera coming from around the blinds.
And it took about 3 hours?
Yeah, they were inside for 3 hours, and then they packed up and they left. They didn't say a word. And NBC is reporting today that it was consensual, that I guess it was worked out with the family
so you can
that
see
they
the
were going to show
pictures.
up, which really doesn't surprise me because, again, just it didn't seem, it seemed like they knew they were coming. The security guard moved out of the way. They knew how to get into the house. There's no one at the house right now, so they went in on their own, and it all seemed like very coordinated.
Brian, where's the family?
It's a good question. We don't know. They were here. Savannah was at this house early last week with her sister, her sister's husband, and Cameron was here also. And this is where they filmed the first video because we saw them bring the ring light and the tripod in. And somehow they left without anyone really noticing. And it's interesting, there were more security guards here specifically hired by NBC when Savannah was here. There were 3 security guards. And then when she left, now there's only 1 security guard just sort of keeping an eye on the house and, telling people to stay back.
Well, it's interesting to watch NBC in the mornings on the Today Show to see what they're reporting on this case, because there's no question in my mind it will have been blessed by Savannah. There's zero doubt that they are asking her, are you comfortable with this? Are you okay? They would not want to upset her or get out ahead of their skis or go someplace where she didn't want it. And they were the ones who broke the news that the search of Annie's home was consensual as opposed to, via search warrant. So to me, I'm deducing, though I can't confirm it as an independent fact, that she doesn't want it looking like her sister or anybody living in that home, like the brother-in-law, are in any way in trouble. But that does not jive with Ashley Banfield's reporting about them considering Annie's husband, Tomas, and that he may, quote, be a prime suspect in this case. We're still investigating that too, Brian, and whether the brother-in-law is coming under the scrutiny of law enforcement. And all I can tell you is that I have reason to believe Ashley Banfield was onto something. I don't know that he did this, but I do believe her reporting that they are taking a very serious look at him. And he's been out of the picture. I mean, he has not been in any of the videos. Has he been seen at all, Brian?
He hasn't been seen since I think it was Tuesday of last week. We got some photos of him outside the house here. He's very recognizable with this big beard. And he was outside with his wife, Savannah's sister, Annie, and they were in the car together. But it's now been almost a week. And something else interesting, you mentioned how they the authorities went and retrieved the surveillance video from the gas station and that they were looking for someone. That gas station is a Circle K, and it's right around the corner from Annie's house. It's not close to Nancy's house. It's right around the corner from Annie's house. And it's where it's positioned is where you would have to drive to go from Nancy's house to Annie's house, which I think is really interesting. It's literally like 1 minute away from here.
Mm-hmm. Here's what I want to know. I want to know whether anybody's been asked to give and or has given a polygraph. Not a peep about that. Is that correct? No one's saying a word.
Not a word. I interviewed yesterday a former homicide detective for Pima County who was there for 20 years and is now retired. And it's interesting what you were reporting in the beginning of your show. I mean, he says the same exact thing, that there's been so much turnover there, that it's a mess at the sheriff's office, and that most of the homicide detectives have like 2 years experience. And so he's concerned a lot of the veterans like him have left just because they've been upset with the department for different reasons. And there was a different sheriff and then another sheriff came back, and it's been a mess there. But he was telling me that in his 20 years there, they never once administered a polygraph. That wasn't something that they did as a sheriff's office ever, not even once.
Oh,
Yeah, I know. But I don't know if now that the FBI is involved,
that
maybe
is
they
weird.
would be doing that.
I don't know, because while they suggested it was a joint investigation at the Thursday presser, FBI, Pima County, my understanding is it's Pima County running herd on this, that it's their investigation, their running point. And so that may tell us some unfortunate things. Here's the other thing I want to know. The Sunday discovery that Nancy was missing allegedly came down to someone at her church noticing she wasn't there and calling the family, which then sent the family to Nancy's home, which led to the discovery of the crime scene, however it looked. They haven't really told us what was inside.
Okay, here we go. I think we're going to find out.
The home. The Daily Mail and you also, we talked about this last week, reporting that Nancy Guthrie was actually was no longer attending the church that they said she was, and that in fact she'd been going virtual for the past 5 years since COVID, that she'd been participating in the live stream that this church offers. Leading us to ask, how would anybody have noticed that she wasn't on the live stream? Because it's not like a Zoom where you can see people joining. Now, we did actually try to join it this weekend and realize that there's a chat. You can join a chat. So it is possible that somebody was in the chat. Look, maybe it's my own bias. The thought of my mom not only joining a live stream, who's 84, but actually then getting in the church chat during the mass and chatting, like it's an impossibility. Yeah. But maybe Nancy Guthrie was a lot more tech savvy than my 84-year-old mom. Could be. She had an Apple Watch. So I want to know whether the investigators have tracked down the alleged parishioner who's purported to have made the phone call. Brian, do we know whether that's happened?
It hasn't happened from what we know. And that's been one of the strange things about this is we've all, me and then all of my other colleagues, we all talk about it out on the street. We've all been trying to figure out this church element. Everybody has been to the church. Everybody has talked to the pastor. And the pastor has said that she went to the church, but that she hasn't come back in person since COVID, that she goes virtually, and no one seems to know that she went to another church. And the church over the weekend at their service, the pastor talked about Nancy, and it appears that's the church she goes to. And what I thought was interesting, Megan, is at the last press conference, the sheriff never brought up the church again. It's almost like he said that the first time right after this happened, but then no one ever talks about the church anymore. So I don't know, the sheriff made a lot of weird off the cuff remarks and mistakes. Like, I don't know if that's just something he said initially, and now there's another reason that the family was concerned that has nothing to do with the church. I just don't know.
International disputes, inflation, rising national debt, digital currency. There's a never-ending list of reasons gold has risen over 700% in the last 20 years. And a never-ending list of reasons smart Americans, diverse. Gold gives you peace in a tax IRA to receive your free info kit with an A+ rating. Birch Gold. The question was, have you interviewed the people that reported her, meaning Nancy, missing from the church? And he responded, We're doing all kinds of interviews. Yes, I'm sure we have. Okay, which is not actually a yes. That's not actually a yes at all. It's actually kind of disconcerting. And yet another thing that either they do need to do or they've done and he's just not telling us. We don't know. So Brian, what about today? The deadline now.
See, that's still weird
for this
now.
5 p.m. $6 million payment is looming. And the Savannah and siblings video from the other night said, we will pay. It said, we will pay.
Yeah.
But they've had no proof of life. They don't know whether these people actually have their mom.
Weird.
And so do we believe that they're actually going to pay $6 million in Bitcoin? Like, has any law enforcement spoken to this or shed any light on what the next step should be?
Yeah, I mean, Savannah said they will pay. Whether they end up doing it, we don't know. And it's interesting. You mentioned the local affiliate was reporting. I think you said it was 1 million and 6 million. That's a little different than what I've learned. I learned it was 4 million and 6 million. And 4 million was the first deadline on Thursday at 5 p.m. and 6 million is the deadline today. But that was in the first note. And the second note, while we don't know exactly what it says, there are some indications that it, based on what Savannah said in her video, the second note may have alluded to Nancy not being okay. And that's why I'm hearing they're not calling it a ransom note. They're just calling it a note. And there was no demand for payment in the second note. It was just a message to the family. It wasn't like, and you can still pay this amount by this time. So I don't, and also, is there a third note that we just don't know about? But that's the other thing I've been wondering. Maybe they're just not reporting on it yet. And Savannah's video is responding to a third note.
I wonder the same, because some of the messaging is so like controlled and calculated. It almost seems like they're saying something can we watch the Savannah video one more time? Let's just watch it one more time.
We received your message and we understand. We beg you now to return our mother to us so that we can celebrate with her. This is the only way we will have peace. This is very valuable to us, and we will pay.
So first of all, it's incredibly grim. They're all very grim-faced. There's nothing about their expressions that telegraphs they've gotten any sort of hopeful news. We understand, she said, we understand, in a sad, like contemplative way. We beg you. She's begging them now, saying, give us our mother back so we can celebrate with her. Again, that word celebrate sticks out like a sore thumb. And it's the only way we'll have peace, which is another word associated with, I think, people who are, grieving, having a settlement of the grief, even if it's a sad settlement, but just a settlement, like what's happening and you can be at peace with it. To me, that's what she was telegraphing. But you're right, we don't know what was in the note. Wait, but Brian, the $4 million would make more sense to me than 4 and 6 makes more sense to me than 1 and 6, because I have to tell you, I've had this conversation behind the scenes with a few different people. Let's face it, $1 million is not much for Savannah Guthrie. She can lose that easily and not really even feel it. So like, if that were the initial demand, I think they would have just paid it. They would have just paid it on Thursday. 4 million is that's a lot more.
Yeah. And I'm confident in my reporting. The person who I spoke to saw the note himself. So I'm sure it was 4 million and 6 million.
He did not say, though, that she was supposed to be with a friend. He didn't say that. I saw that on a post on X, but no one has actually said that she was supposed to be with a friend. Right? See? Weird.
And I can't remember if I talked to you about this last time, but the other thing that was in the first note that was so alarming to the FBI, there's two things. One, the location of the Apple Watch inside Nancy's room was very, very specific. And the other thing is they specifically referenced a damaged, smashed floodlight in the backyard, which has since been removed up on the back of Nancy's house, which is smashed. So those two things were spot on in the first note, which appears to be why they've been
Yeah,
taking
did
all
you
of
see
this so
anything new?
seriously.
But Brian, don't you think, like, okay, so the floodlight is visible from the outside. You know, people were crawling all over the property, and especially, you know, Monday. I think the first notes came Tuesday, so you would have just had to see it on sometime Sunday or Monday, or prior to that. You know, potentially you could have seen it prior to that if you were a contractor taking advantage of the family's pain here, and you'd been inside the house. You might know about that floodlight, and you might know where
Right.
she keeps her Apple
Right.
Watch at night. The thing that I can't get past is, if I stole somebody and I needed to give proof of life so that I could get millions of dollars, I would ask that person questions that only that person would know the answers to. And I would put that information in my note. Like, information above all would be proof of life, not
Right.
where, like, who would say where she keeps the Apple Watch
Yeah.
or that a floodlight had been damaged?
No, but that does say that they were there, right? That does indicate that. That's why it's, I think it's somebody close to the family. They obviously were comfortable there. They were there a long time. And there is a lot of weird stuff. I mean, you know, the stuff with the son-in-law, that does seem to be real. Yeah, this is just really crazy. And I thought we might know something about this church situation, but that didn't happen. I don't know that we're going to. Oh, wow. Yeah, there's something very strange. Right. That was my thought from the very beginning, Puzzle. Well, every day I feel like something's gonna. Every day I feel like we're gonna know something, but every day we don't. This is really weird. I just pray that. Obviously, I pray she's okay. I have a bad feeling that she's not. And I can't believe that this is about trying just news. That's crazy. I think that's just really nuts, but we'll keep watching and see what happens. Part of me keeps thinking I'm going to go down there, but I don't know. Maybe I will. It goes on. It's about an hour and a half to 2 hours from us drive. I think it's a circus, though. Pretty sure it's a circus down there. So, okay, I'm going to end this. I've been over 2 hours, so I'll end this, and hopefully we can do this again in a couple of days. Maybe we'll know more. So thanks for chatting with me, guys. Thanks for This brainstorming. Yeah, there are sick people in this world. There certainly are. It's really too bad. In your own home when you feel safe, right? I hate that. I hate thinking that this happened to somebody. Oh, okay. Oh, I won't. I'll check it. Okay, good night, guys. Thank you so much. Love you guys. Thank you. Oh, you are so welcome. Thank you. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much. Good night, everybody. Stay safe.